Okay. What's up? What's up? Welcome back to another episode of the 49 Show. This is your boy, K.O.D.S. I showed you my head as if K.O.D.S. was on my head. Yeah, it's your boy King K.O.D.S, man, and I'm back with the 49 Show. And I just want to, tell you about last night's game. And I would like for you all to comment on what you thought about last night's game. Was it good? Was it, was it so-so? Were you happy with it? Were you upset with it? I mean, what? And the reason why I'm asking this is because last night, I'm just going to get straight to the point. I want to talk about Jimmy Garoppolo. What do you think about Jimmy Garoppolo last night? I've been hearing a lot of things today, working and busy, but I've been hearing the talk. A lot of it hasn't been too bad. It's like, everybody's kind of in between on overreacting and not overreacting. So, but what I want to know is, what do you think? How do you feel? I've heard a lot of people say some things about Jimmy Garoppolo, and I don't know what to really say as of right now. The only thing I can do is hit the pause button, and that's because it's still the preseason. Now, I didn't make a video when he threw the 5 interceptions on 5 straight passing plays in practice last week. I didn't do that because I felt like it's just practice. In the great words of Allen Iverson, we're talking about practice. Really? We're not talking about playoffs. We're not talking about NFC Championship game. We're not talking about the Super Bowl. We're talking about practice. So, basically, I'm not going to lie to you. I didn't think that there was a need to make that video. Plus, I've been very, very busy, and I apologize. But I didn't think there was a need to overreact with the 5 picks. It's a little something to be cautious about, but I wouldn't say overreact. But because it was practice. But this, not practice. This is a playoff. This is a preseason game. It's a football game, no, nonetheless. And it's him trying to get back into the mix of things. Dust the cobwebs off. Knock the rust off, as he said, after the game. I'm just going to say this. Jimmy Garoppolo, what I see is Jimmy Garoppolo being a little shaky. That's what I see. I think he's just a little shaky, and it's mentally. I don't think it's the physical traits. I think he has all of that. His mechanics, he has some ups and downs with that. Could it get better? Yes, it could. But as far as the mental part, his mental state of mind, he's not there yet. He's not back yet. And what's going to have to happen is he's going to have to take a good hit, a nice shot. He's going to have to, get, somebody to fall on him, and the leg gets touched a little bit or rolled on, and then nothing happens. He's got to get sacked. He's got to take a good hit, whether it be the leg or anywhere. He's got to get some pressure and take that pressure and bounce back up from it and say, wasn't that bad? I'm good. Now I'm over it. And then mentally it'll go away and he'll get back to just football. And that's the issue right now with Jimmy Garoppolo. It's a mental thing. That's all it is. It's strictly a mental thing that he has to get past. Everybody goes through this when they have certain injuries that they try to come back from. Tom Brady went through this after the 2008 season when he tore his ACL. Drew Brees went through this after his major shoulder surgery injury that people didn't think he would be good anymore. They thought he was through. San Diego Chargers didn't want to deal with him, and they he was a free agent. How many quarterbacks do you see become free agents? You know what I'm saying? I mean, we just saw Kirk Cousins, but that took a long time before we saw that again. So, and Sean Payton took a chance on him, and boom, Drew Brees is still Drew Brees. Now, that first season or some part of that season, yeah, it's going to be kind of hard for you to be like, But I'm telling you, he needs to just get through that and let his mind catch up with his knee. And once that happens, I think he'll be fine. I'm not going to go out on a limb and just say he's going to get past this and he's going to be a Pro Bowler. He's going to be an MVP or comeback player of the year. I'm not going to go that far anymore. I've said Pro Bowl in the past, possible comeback player of the year, but I'm not going to go that far right now because I see he's a little shaky. And what I think he needs to do is just calm down, take the hits, relax, and let it be what it be. That's what I see. I also see that a lot of it wasn't his fault. Last night, Joe Staley sucked in blocking. There was a play where Bradley Chubb came through, and for some reason he thought he had inside help. I don't understand why he would think that. That's your man, block him. Joe Staley has always been a tad bit overrated for me, but people love to talk about him, and they love to just I think he's overrated. And yes, that's a Joe Staley cooking apron I got right there. It was given to me. That was just a souvenir somebody brought back. But nonetheless, I'm not crazy about Joe Staley, but he is who he is. We can't find anybody better. So, hey, what the hell? But he didn't do good last night, and he's the reason why he helped Garoppolo look bad as well. This guy was like 1 for 6 for 0 yards and an interception. He got no completions. Well, he got no yards. Was he 0 for 6 or 1 for 6? I don't know. I don't even know if he completed a pass. But he didn't get any yards. They say no yards, and they say an interception. And we know he almost had 2 interceptions. That would have been a pick 6 if the dude caught it. That was a house call. I'm not necessarily sure if that was his fault. I'm not trying to make excuses for him, but it looked like Jordan Matthews was a little late breaking out of that route. Garoppolo put it where he thought Matthews should have been, and he wasn't there. Corners read that good. Keep in mind, this is a team that they practice against all week as well. Joe Staley didn't look that good. The offensive line didn't look good at all. That was not Witchburg playing at center. It was Ben Garland, and Ben Garland looked like trash. That's why the number 96 guy for the Broncos was just looking like he was Warren Sapp and any of the other top all-time defensive lineman from back in the day. He looked like all those guys rolled up in one because he was just straight bullying, power rushing, just bull rush. He was just doing everything, just knocking Garland straight back and putting his hand up. What do you know? That's a football. Every time Garoppolo got ready to step back, push him off, get my hands up, bat it down. That's all that was. That was the center not doing his job. And who else was it? Torben or whatever his name is was playing right guard. The interior, we had Lake Tomlinson and we had Joe Staley start on the left end. You had McGlinchey starting on the right end, but the center and the right guard, that's not who it's going to be. That's not Mike Person, and that's not Weston Richburg, okay? They're still out. Person's nicked up a little bit. Richburg's not back yet from his injury. So, that wasn't the main people that's going to be out there, though. Let's understand that. That was the number one. That was the starting defense for the Denver Broncos going against only a few starters for the 49ers. And Staley was only out there for one drive, I believe, and he sucked. He didn't do that good, let's be real. Stop giving him veteran days off and let that motherfucker get out there and block who he needs to block, and he needs to do his job. Now, again, I know Bradley Chubb is going to be a monster for years to come, and he's getting this one-on-one because everybody's focused on Von Miller on the other side. I get it. But if Staley, who we say he is, then a second-year pro shouldn't do him like that. And he was getting in Garoppolo's face the little time that he was out there. So they wanted to make Garoppolo have something to hang his hat on when he left. So they brought him back out for a second drive, and that didn't look good either. And that's when he almost had a pick 6. They had him come out there for a third drive, and they had a penalty. And so they end up pushing it back. I think that is the one completion that he might have had, if I'm not mistaken, and it was a penalty. And so I guess it goes as a completion, but no yards. I'm not sure what the hell. I really don't care. It's the preseason. This is where you get all your rust off. This is where you make those mistakes. This is where you see, can I put the ball and fit it in here and things like that in the practices. So that's why I'm not tripping about the 5 picks. And then in this game, it's his first game back in 11 months. Let's be real. 11 months. So it's going to take some time for him to knock the dust off, like he said. Now, if he's still doing this shit in week 3 and week 4, then I'm going to say, okay, we got some problems, And it will look like it will look like if he's still doing that, then we're going to have to start scratching our head and wondering, is Jimmy Garoppolo the next Matt Flynn, where he played good somewhere else and it looked like he was good and then he went and got paid somewhere and he didn't really do nothing. But we're not going to call him Matt Flynn just yet. But that's what'll happen if this season goes on and it's just not good. He stays healthy, but he still don't play good. It's mental from what I see. From what I see, it's mental with the knee, and his mind has to catch up with the knee. But I want to know what you all think. Do you think it is the knee and mentally he's just not ready yet? Do you think he's just still a little rusty and it's nothing to worry about? Do you think he is a bust and it was just system in New England and he's not really that good and he is the next Matt Flynn? Or do you think he was much better when there was no pressure at all and he had no contract yet? And in 2017, he balled out and went 5-0. And then after that, in 2018, let's be real, he wasn't the same Jimmy Garoppolo we saw in 2017. The 5-0 Jimmy Garoppolo from 2017 came back in 2018, and he was pretty bad in week 1 at Minnesota. He threw 3 interceptions. Only one of them wasn't his fault, and that was Kendrick Bourne running a bad route, falling down, slipping. Excuse me. Kind of something like Jordan Matthews was doing because he hit the ground too on that route. So I'm not really putting that on him, but that was a pick 6 if he had caught it, and it wouldn't have, in my opinion, been all his fault. But back to what I'm saying about, the game. Week 1, he was bad in Minnesota. Week 2, he was a little better against Detroit at home, but he almost screwed all of that up and almost threw a pick 6 that would have lost us the game against the Detroit Lions. I'm not sure if you remember that or not, but he almost threw a pick 6, and he chased him down and tackled him right inside the 1 or the 2 yard line. But he threw the game away if it wasn't for a penalty that brought that back. And we survived and we won that game. And we went 1-1, but he still didn't look. It was just something there. Now, and then that was week 3. He went to KC, and we know that was the last game he played. He went to KC, and it was a slow start. It looked bad. But then things started cooking up. He got hot, and things started to look a lot better. And he was coming back. I felt it coming. It was like, okay, here we go. And then he done something dumb, and he put himself out for the season. And I say that because you remember the play. You've seen it 100 times. He done something that could have been avoided. And, he got put out for the season with that towards ACL. So that's all we've seen, though. 8 games as a 49er starting. He is 5-2. 3. 5-3. No, 6-2. I'm sorry. 6-2 in 8 games with the 49ers as a starter. The record looks good, but we would like to get back to the 2017 Jimmy G, not the 2018 Jimmy G. And we don't know what they expect, which one we're going to get in 2019. So I want to ask you this. Is it what I said earlier? Is it just mentally him and the knee? That's what I think it is. Mentally, the knee. I also think it could be something else that I'll say in the end. Is it him mentally just thinking about that knee injury? He's got it. His leg is fine, but he don't know it yet. His mind not telling him that. That could be what it is because he looks shaky. Or is it just rust that he has to knock off? Or is he really not that good? And we just paid him because he looked better than what we thought he was. And that winning streak helped us believe that. And, maybe he is the next Matt Flynn, and Shanahan says, screw this. I can get out of this contract at the end of this year and only take a $4 million cap hit. You're out of here, and I want you to go to Minnesota, and I'm going to see if Zimmer is going to bring me my boy Kirk Cousins back, who I wanted in the first place. Kobe, sit down. So, what do you think? What do you think? Or is it this last one right here I'm going to throw at you? Is it that he hadn't got a contract yet? There was no pressure, no problem. And as soon as he got that $137.5 million, or that contract of that for 5 years. And it don't look like him. If he keeps playing like this, it won't be 5 years. But I'm just saying, was he better when he had nothing to lose? There was no high expectations. There was no pressure. Now he wins 5 games in a row. He gets paid. High expectations for last year, and he got hurt. So now those expectations kind of, they calm down a little bit, but not that much. So now it comes on over into 2019, and it's still there. Like, Jimmy G, we know you can do it. If you had stayed all year, we know this is what we would have done. So I'm not sure what it is. Excuse me, my puppy's right here, but I'm not sure. Do you think it's just that he can't handle pressure? Is that what you think? Do you think that that's what it is? And now that he's got the money, the high expectations, and all if they're expecting so much from him, he can't handle it, and he's feeling this pressure. Is he one of those guys who cannot perform well under pressure? Which one is it? I gave you several options. I would like to know your thoughts, because there's been a lot of talk about Jimmy G, and everybody's got so many different opinions. And the reason why I'm bringing up Matt Flynn is because I heard somebody on a sports radio show say that today, saying this looks like to me another Matt Flynn incident. I'm not saying I think he's Matt Flynn. I'm saying people are saying it. And if you all remember him, he is the guy who was the guy who was in Green Bay, played a few games for Aaron Rodgers when he was hurt, lit it up, had a few games where, they played a bad Detroit Lions defense in the snow and something like that. He threw for like 500 yards or something, or was it 5 or 6 touchdowns? But he lit it up and he looked good. And Seattle didn't have a quarterback, and they said, we're going to pay this guy. But then he gets to training camp, and it's him, I believe, Tavares Jackson, and a young rookie named Russell Wilson, who was drafted in the 3rd round, and Matt Flynn lost his damn job after getting paid. I mean, they paid this boy that was good money back then in the 2011 or 2012 offseason. I mean, the 2012 season, before it starts, this man gets paid. You've never seen a free agent quarterback get paid big bucks, go to a new team, and never got to start. I don't know how they done that contract in the end or whatever, but they didn't care about the contract. They saw that Russell Wilson was good, and they went with him. So that's what it is. Kobe, get over there and sit down. So they done it. And it's like, is he Matt Flynn? I thought about it as I was driving in my truck, and I said, man, he kind of got a point, but I don't want to say that that's the truth. I don't want to believe that, guys. Do you believe that? I don't know. Give me your comments, man. Of course, subscribe, click the notification bell. I appreciate it. It's your boy King Cards, man. Another episode of the 4-9 Show. I've been gone for a full week or two. I apologize, man. I got to stop doing these 70-hour weeks. I'm doing almost 70 hours, and when I get home, I don't even have time to do a 5-minute video. You all know I like to talk. This is supposed to be a 5-minute video, and it's already almost 20. But I apologize, man. I'm coming back. I said I had to do one real quick today, though, to tell you about the game. I ain't got time to talk about the other players. We'll get to that another time. We still got 2 more preseason games. I'll tell you my projected 53-man roster this weekend. Right now, the only thing that matters to me is Jimmy G the man or not? Is he who he says? Is he who we think he is, or who some people may think he is? Or is he really not that dude? It's possible that he's not that dude. Then again, it's possible that he just rusty. It's been a year. And mentally, he's thinking about that leg. What if it gets smashed again? What if I get cut? What if I just got to get all this money and then do nothing? It's a lot of things on his mind, and I do think pressure has something to do with it. But I want you to comment and let me know if you think that he really just can't handle the pressure at all. And now that he's gotten the money, he can't deal with he is feeling pressure from the high expectations. Is he only that type of dude to where, like, if he's the underdog and he's counted out, then he'll thrive? I'm not sure, man. But right now I'm going with mentally he is shook. And don't get it twisted, people. Even though that's, better than him just not being good or, him just being overrated or whatever some people may think. Being mentally shook is just as bad as being garbage, because you may never get over it. You may play so bad and think so much about something else that's really not important to where you lose your job, and then it breaks your confidence if he gets cut or traded. If Shanahan gives up on him after this year, it will really hurt him. It will really hurt him with his confidence. It will break it down, because then he'll have to go somewhere and get paid a whole lot less, because they will say, what happened? You're not who we thought you were. San Francisco see that. They let you go, or they traded you here. What are we going to do? Well, let's just say if Garoppolo and Cousins did swap teams. Let's just say that scenario that Mike Florio from Pro Football Talk off NBC Sports, let's just say if that is true, if that really happens. What are the Vikings going to pay Garoppolo? You think they're just going to trade contracts if he's playing that poor? I don't think so. Is his contract a little less than Kirk Cousins? Yeah, I think so. But no, I think it would have to be some kind of, hey, we released him, or if we trade, we've got to avoid this contract and we're going to do it and we're going to restructure it or something, because you just hadn't given us enough games, enough film. We don't know who you are. And let's be honest, 49er fans, we don't know who he is. We really don't. So, man, I don't know. Let's just see what happens. Let's see what's up. Let's play some more game. He got one more game to play against Kansas City Saturday night. He'll probably play the first half. But anybody that thinks he should have played more than that last night, I'll say you're crazy, because that offensive line would have got him killed, and we'd be crying, boo-hooing, just like we were last year after week 3. He had to get out of there. And I can see why he started handing it off more, because it was like, shit, these guys ain't blocking worth a damn. So I don't blame him for that. I don't blame him. But anyway, we also give me your comments, but we need to wait until next week to figure out what happens in Kansas City with him, and we need to see what happens week 1, week 2. Now, I ain't gonna need that much time, I ain't gonna lie, because it's regular season. But if he don't do anything after week 1 and week 2, he don't show me something strong. This weekend coming up in Kansas City, we got a problem, guys. But until then, I'm just gonna say the offensive line did not block well. They didn't really give him a lot of opportunities, and the wide receivers are still young and they're still trying to get better. The only thing I can say. And that might have been the issue last year, the first 3 games. It still could have been the wide receiving core. I don't know what to say. If that's the case, did we make the right moves? Or, what's up with Debo? Is he going to play? Is he going to be a starter? Or are you going to put Jalen Hurd in with the starters? Is Pettis a starter? Is Dante Pettis even a starter? We've been talking all offseason about the breakout year he's going to have, and I ain't seen him do really much of anything in these 2 games. And I know it's just the preseason, but, man, look, this 3rd game, put Debo and Hurd out there and let me see what the rookies can do. Let them start. Let me see if Jimmy can get a rapport with them. Let me see if they get open, and then you can get – because it just seems like some of these guys ain't getting open. Goodwin went open on the pick, but I know he was pressured. If he had been able to run that, what was that, kind of like a fade route? Well, not fade, but like a wheel route. He was going to go up the sideline. He could have got behind him, but he ain't had a time to. So I want to just say pump the brakes. I'm hitting the pause button on Garoppolo being a bust or, a Matt Flynn, but it came up and I heard it and I said, let me share this with the Niner Empire, with the 49ers, with the fans, with the faithfuls, and see what you all think. Just give me your comments. I'm not saying I think that. I'm just saying I'm saying pump the brakes. We're not going to trip just yet, but there is some room to worry a little bit, just not overreact. It's been 11 months. That's all I can really say about that. And the offensive line has to get better. They're about to show me that I was right when I said a few months ago we did more as far as upgrading the offensive line position. But, man, that's it for me. I'm out of time. I've already went too long with it, and this was all about one damn player. But this player is going to make or break us. I mean, however far we go is going to be him doing it, But I gotta say something. One more thing, Garoppolo. Don't think for 1 minute that Nick Mullins don't want your job, and don't think he won't take your job if you don't get right. Okay? It's time to get whatever it is out your head mentally. Forget about that. Get out there and take that first hit so you can dust it off and shake it off and get up and get back in the huddle and say, all right, I'm past it. Let's get this win, guys. Let's go. Nick Mullins will take your job if you don't play better, and Nick Mullins has shown that he can lead a team. I think he can lead him. I think the locker room will be behind him. Does he have some flaws? Yes. Every backup quarterback does. That's why they're backup quarterbacks. But he's still better than Beathard, in my opinion. Beathard throws the prettier deep ball, but we're not going to keep both of them on the roster and say, all right, we're going to throw a deep ball. Beathard, you come in for that, and then come back out and we'll put Mullins back in. I mean, eventually they'll know. Oh, they're going deep. Beathard's out there. So, I don't know what to say about that. Do I want the pretty ball, the deep ball over the other things? I don't know. Yeah, kind of, but his mechanics are too messed up. His brain is too slow. His clock in his head. It don't work. Everything, the release from everything in his head to, staring defenses down or just, getting rid of the ball too late. I don't want that from Beathard. There's only one thing he can do good, and that's throw a damn pretty good deep ball. But Nick Mullins can do everything else. He can move in and outside the pocket, The clock is quicker. He gets rid of the ball quicker. He's good inside the numbers. He struggles a little bit outside the numbers too. But Garoppolo hasn't been that good at that either. So, man, guys, I don't know what to say. Only thing I can say is we need to go into this season with kind of like expecting the worst and hoping for the best. I'm changing my tone right now, and I hate to do that. But I don't want to be as high as I was 3 weeks ago, a month ago, and then they just do me like this, and I have to come all the way down. Like, dang, I thought we was gonna go 11-5. I said we are going 11-5, and I'm not gonna change it. But we damn sure could go 5-11 if he don't get it together. So, like I said, I'm not gonna overreact. But I'm also not gonna just be like, it ain't nothing to worry about. Like a lot of you faithfuls will just be like, I'm not worried about it. He's gonna do this, he's gonna do that. Stop it. Okay, let's not be so delusional. I thought that was Cowboy fans only. There's gonna be some struggles. Okay, he's gonna have some struggles. He's trying to come back from this injury. It's not gonna be all peaches and cream, but at the same time, we do want to know that he's the franchise guy. So we need to see him play more games to find it out. But mentally, he's got to be ready. And, he's got to play enough games to get this rust off. And I think he needs to be playing this preseason game really into the third quarter. I honestly believe that. It's time to get these starters out here so we can see what's up. Or else week one, it's still going to be like, everybody else is kind of caught up and we're behind. And that game is going to matter in Tampa Bay on week one. So we'll see what happens. We'll see how it goes. Man, I'm going to get out of here. But comment. I really do want to know what you think about Jimmy Garoppolo and last night. What do you think? That coming out for the 5 picks in the practice. This is why people are kind of going a little hysterical right now. And I'm not saying you shouldn't be, but I'm just saying think about what you're complaining about. The line didn't block good. I didn't see receivers getting separation. It all happened so fast and so quick, but I mean, hey, and then on top of that, he's looking at it like, oh, shit, here comes Bradley Chubb again. Damn. Fuck it, here. He had some throws where he just closed his eyes and he just slung it. I ain't gonna lie. It looked like he just – but the dude that I heard today that said the Matt Flynn thing, I wanted to share that with you all because I wanted to know how you think about it. I know that's cold. I know that's a little harsh to say. That's kind of like a wow. But honestly, we don't know the answer. We can say we think we know, but we won't know until about week until the season's over with. Unless we just go 0-8 and then, he gets benched and it's like, damn. Then we know the season's over with and he played all those games and didn't get us no wins. Other than that, we just got to kind of walk it through and see how the season goes, man. I honestly was excited about the season, but I'm not so sure what these receivers are going to do. I just don't know. I don't know who's going to make the team. As far as the receivers go, I really don't care because I don't think anybody is really doing anything that really separate themselves. Richard James, I said he wasn't going to make the team, and he's playing pretty good, though. I'll take that back. Jordan Matthews, I said he was going to make the team. I think he's the reason why Garoppolo almost threw the pick last night. So I don't know. I just don't know anymore. But I never said I was a football analysis. I never said I was an expert. I just said I don't want to do videos and talk about my 49ers. Man, I'm at 30 minutes, man. I'm going to let y'all go. Red and gold till I'm dead and cold. Comment at the bottom. Like, subscribe. Click the notification bell. 49. Red and gold till I'm dead and cold.